Hi, this is Victor Antonio with another Sales Influence Moment. Today I want to talk about that famous objection we often hear, especially in the B2C market, that's too expensive. Now, what I want to do today is dissect, really, what does that phrase mean? That's too expensive. What does the customer really mean? But believe it or not, there's 4 meanings behind that statement that I've identified. See if you agree. The first one is when somebody says that's too expensive, are they really saying that's too expensive compared to X? In other words, compared to a direct competitor or an alternative solution. So in other words, relative to somebody else, you're too expensive. Is that what they're saying? Or maybe they're saying, well, that's too expensive. What they're really saying is more than I expected to pay. Well, Victor, that's more than I expected to pay. Now, they're not saying no. They're just saying that's more than I expected to pay. So when they say that's too expensive, it doesn't mean that they can't afford it. It's more than they expected to pay. So our job as salespeople is to what? Build that value so they can see the value of what we're offering and then are willing to pay that price. But maybe in some cases, this is true, they simply can't afford it. That's too expensive means they can't afford it. They just simply don't have the money. Now let's assume that that's a small percentage of the market. And let's move those aside because we can't sell to those folks. But maybe when they say that's too expensive, it's not that they can't afford it. Maybe they're asking you, code, do you have a payment plan? Do you have some financing options? Can I break the payments up? Or do you have net 30, net 60, net 90? In other words, can you help me make the payments? I like what you're selling, but I don't know if I can afford to pay it in one lump sum. Victor, I can't afford to pay $40,000. Can you break it up into 3 or 4 months? Get the idea? So sometimes when a client says that's too expensive, they're not saying I can't afford it. That's not what they're saying. They may be saying, well, compared to somebody else, please show me why this is a little more expensive. Or they may be saying, it's more than I expected to pay, so show me the extra value. Or maybe they're simply saying, do you have some payment options? Think about it the next time you hear that's too expensive, and then analyze it and maybe ask the customer, what do you really mean when you say that's too expensive? This is Victor Antonio with another Sales Influence Moment reminding you, selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care.